Ugh. So you want to go for this transfer talk now?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
So
So
let's
much.
start on the Spanish side.
Yeah.
What's happening at Barcelona? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I don't. A lot of shedding, right? It's like shedding of the skin, I guess, or shedding of the excess. But they've already what brought in? They got rid of Junior Firpo,
Mm-hmm.
Todibo, Carlos Elena, Mateus Fernandez, who then slapped him with a wrongful discrimination suit, or not discrimination, wrongful termination suit. They offloaded Trincao, right?
Mm-hmm.
I this it's going to continue too because they have to. And that, technically, Messi is a free agent, right? So, if and then 4 months ago, we're like forgetting weren't their offices raided too? Barcelona is at a turning point, and one where you look on the field and you say, "Wow, they still have a future." But so much is probably going to be changing in the next year or two. Am I wrong there?
It's for me the biggest problem at Barcelona, even with Laporta being there, is they are getting Depay, Eric Garcia, and Aguero, and exceeding the wage bill,
Yeah,
and they are not realizing this. So I think this is a very bad look for Laporta
sure.
because now he has a Messi renewal, which it's going to be steep. The Messi renewal is going to be steep, but it's needed for Barcelona. The only attraction that Barcelona have is Lionel Messi. So I don't know. Laporta has such a big mess. And on the Wonderkid side, I
Yeah,
saw that Moriba doesn't want to get his contract extension
right.
because Wijnaldum must come, and I think Moriba understands that that means he's going to have low minutes. And I understand. And Moriba is a very interesting player for an Ajax, a Dortmund, or even a Bayern Munich. I'm
Okay.
putting it out there.
Okay.
So, Ricky Puig, they got Yusuf Demir,
Hmm.
which he's going to start for Barcelona B, and
Hmm.
is understandable. But this is a player that has more than 25 games in the Austrian league,
Yep.
Yusuf Demir. So I think it's a good find for Barcelona. But should they be focusing on that? Sorry on the Wijnaldum thing. He didn't go to Barcelona. He went to PSG.
Right.
But
Yes.
Moriba, I think he knows that Barcelona is a mess now, and yeah, he needs to. They need to fix it.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt there, but that was I thought it was locked and loaded, thought it was done, and then no.
True.
We'll talk about PSG in a very little bit.
True.
But that see the Yusuf Demir thing is very interesting to me, right? This is a kid that probably, let's be honest, is probably better off playing another year or two.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't getting full scale minutes, right, in the 11 for Rapid Vienna. Okay. But he still had 8 goals, I think, in 9 starts for them. I mean, he was just really well regarded.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we have to think about this. He picked Barcelona, only Barcelona, and Barcelona B, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he grew up a Barcelona fan. So that's where I defer with you on this from the Messi perspective, because I'm thinking about it and I'm saying Leo Messi, 34 years old. I mean, you're talking even if he restructures that contract, and he's going to have to, right? Still a whole lot of the wage budget towards him. Is he really the only draw, or is it time to cut bait, let Leo Messi go, which I don't think will be a killer unless Laporta finds another way to destroy the. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go down that road. But
Mm-hmm.
you have people out there, you have players out there that Messi has essentially molded without actually knowing, because he's a generational. I mean, he's a lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
footballing phenomenon. We're not going to see another one like him for a very
Well,
very long time potentially. But Yusuf Demir wants to go to Barcelona solely because he grew up a fan. And if you can capitalize off of that, you can hopefully rebuild for the future. It's going to be a really
mm,
rocky road, though.
the only
Really rocky.
reason why I think Messi's gonna stay, Breton, and I think Messi's gonna stay, Breton, because Aguero has signed the papers and he's gonna be at Barcelona,
Yeah,
and I think Aguero was a Messi ask.
yeah.
And money, Messi has a lot of sources of income for sure, and I think even for his image, maybe it's not bad for him to stay at Barcelona.
I don't think
It
you're. I don't think you're wrong there. I think Fabrizio Romano already came out and said it's basically done. The contract's going to be signed. It's just more of a what if scenario. And my guess is he's not signing a 5, 7, 9 year contract, right? He's signing probably 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
And we're going to have this conversation all over again. But as you mentioned, they can't even register their new signings right now. Depay, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'd say that regardless of anything, they need to focus on Pedri. Barcelona needs to focus on Pedri. Even though Messi can leave, I think he'll stay. They need to focus on this chemistry of Pedri with Messi. Even Sergino Dest, maybe. Ronaldo Araújo. Eric Garcia, he's going to be a bet. Memphis Depay. All this chemistry, it's not all of a sudden. So it's going to be a very interesting job for Koeman. But yeah, good.
I just gotta say though, they're selling some of these guys they're offloading. They're selling for pretty big losses. Firpo, I think they brought in for 20, 25 or something, and they sold him for like 13 or 14 to Leeds. I mean, they bought a goalkeeper they've used 14 times for 26 million euros.
That's a madness. That's a madness.
It's just unbelievable, and they've missed. I'm getting angry about it, and we have to move on. But I hope,
let's continuing on the madness. PSG, isn't it a madness to see Sergio Ramos with another kit, not a Real Madrid kit, but a PSG kit? Yeah. So we're getting kids in Paris idolizing Ramos at PSG. Yeah. They should. They should.
I'll be honest. It looks good. For some reason, it looks like he's been wearing it for a while. I don't know if it's just because I actually don't know. But I think his arrival from a leadership standpoint, beyond a footballing perspective, takes that quest for a Champions League to a whole nother level, a level they likely didn't have previously. So add that to 60 million for Achraf Hakimi. Add that to Wijnaldum. Add that to who else?
Donnarumma.
I'm sorry, Donnarumma. Right. This is a full scale assault on the financial fair. No, just kidding. This is going to be a very, very interesting experiment, and what a collection of talent there, and only one, that leadership can buy. So what do you think?
I think the best buy is going to be Achraf Hakimi, because the biggest problem I think in the Champions League was noticeable was the fullbacks. And I'm sure Neymar was going crazy with that, because Neymar needs the crosses, needs those passes going to the middle, and he didn't have it. So on the defensive side, I'm sure it's very good for Neymar and Mbappe to think. On the back, we're safe. We got Ramos, Donnarumma, and Hakimi.
And in the middle, you have Verratti.
And Wijnaldum. I think this is the best PSG side I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I think they're just missing I mean, I know Neymar can go up front, and Mbappe can go up front. But,
Neymar, Mbappe, Ramos, Donnarumma, Verratti, Marquinhos. This is the best PSG side I've for sure seen in my life. I can't remember.
I know. I mean, is it true that they're also thinking of spending 30, 40 million euros on Moise Kean? Or is that already done? Because I did see that kind of circulating around, but that just seems I don't know.
A striker, they need a striker. That would be the frosting on the cupcakes, right?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. With all of these shockingly world-class players in their 11, it actually should open up a couple depth slots for some of the academy players, and that's another thing to talk about in the future. But you might see a guy. Well, I don't even want to go down the road of this because we have so much more to talk about. But I fully expect PSG to dip into their youth academy to kind of fill in the gaps there and give them some chances. But
we could talk about French talents. You know what happened to Crystal Palace? Patrick Vieira, new coach, and Olis. Next season, Zaha, Ezi, and Olis. Skillers, street football. 100%. Like, I'm so excited.
I know. And what a steal. What an absolute steal. 9 million. I'm sure there's some tack-ons there that we're not hearing about. But, like, think about all the other championship buys, these studs from the championship. Because at least was a stud last year.
Yeah.
I believe he had 12 assists. The kid's 19 years old, and he was, I believe, second in the championship. But think about like the Ollie Watkins, right? Emiliano Buendia, Neil
Mm-hmm.
Maupay to Brighton back in the day. Okay, those were all massively like 25 million dollar purchases or 25 million euro purchases. Uh, Elise is going for 9 million. The Crystal Palace to Patrick Vieira to take under his wing. You add that to Zaha likely sticking around,
Mm-hmm.
Eberici Eze, um, Tyreek Mitchell, who shot. A lot of people don't know much about him, but he is on the come up. Phenomenal tackler for them last year. Just go and you can look at the stats. You can see what he did for them last season. It's going to be a really fun time to watch Crystal Palace. And I know we're going from PSG to CPFC, but it's quite the collection.
It's very good management in my opinion,
Yeah.
because the brand of Crystal Palace is going up, because the internet now, TikTok and all these platforms, they love skills. They
Mm-hmm.
love those sound bites, and Zaha will give them, Olise will give them, and Ezzy will give them.
Yeah.
All these three players are certified ballers,
Yeah.
and it's a fantastic move in my opinion.
I agree.
I wanted to talk because here in Portugal, a lot has been happening,
Mm-hmm.
especially at Benfica. I don't know if you've seen, but the president of Benfica has been detained by the police, which is, in my opinion, quite crazy.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
and supposedly the victims are Benfica. So I don't know what to think about this. And Rui Costa, the legend, like he's in such an unfortunate situation now,
Yeah.
being the president of Benfica in such a sad time. Oh,
It's I was flabbergasted. I don't know if that's the right word by the headline alone. And then I
oh.
saw a 3 million euro bail. So
Mhm.
that means they're pretty damn certain on his allegations there. And we have to obviously make sure we preface that it is an allegation. It is not,
Yeah,
he was detained, I believe, not necessarily arrested. I don't know if that's the same
it's
thing,
true.
but
It's
that's what the
true.
headline said. But there were like his son, I think, was also detained. There was also an agent that was detained.
Brun Massid, the
Oh
agent. Yeah.
my! I mean,
The deals were being done, and a lot of eyes were closed. But I think justice is now coming to an unfold.
yeah.
It's quite sad in my opinion. Valias Vid did happen a couple of years ago too for Benfica.
Mm.
Bruno Carvalho at Sporting. It's a lot of sad things have been happening at the top of clubs here in Portugal, but justice I think is being served. And again, I love Rui Costa, but it's quite unfortunate becoming the president of Benfica with when you're the vice president of the leadership that did this.
Oof.
So let's see. But I know that Benfica are interested in signing João Mario.
Hmm.
So I could see it happening. But don't worry, Sporting, because getting Ruben Vinagre, Ricardo Gaio, and maybe Ugarte from Famalicão, you're okay with those signings, in my opinion.
That sound good. Those sound pretty good. Yeah, Wolves, they made permanent Rayon I Nori, so that I guess opened up Ruben Vinagre to leave. I don't really
Yes.
understand that because in most of the times that I watched him play for Wolves, I actually thought he had a place, he had a future there. Um, so
Mm.
kind of shocking. I don't know if it was injuries that kind of pushed him down the pecking order. But hey, they're very clearly getting ready or building for the future or
Mm-hmm.
for a future without Nuno Mendes. Correct?
It's true. Sporting must be thinking about a future without Nuno Mendes, because Ruben Vinagre is a left back option too, and there's a 10 million really buy obligation I think at the
Okay.
end of the season.
Jeez.
So I think it's a good deal for both clubs in my
Yeah.
opinion. Nuno
Yeah.
Mendes is destined for greatness, and Ruben Vinagre is a good Champions League player, because I think what Sporting and Ruben Amorim are thinking right now
Hmm.
is we need a solid team for the Champions League.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jgai too. Jgai is a very good fullback. I remember when I was a kid seeing Jgai as a winger in Sporting Academy, and he was scoring so many goals. and I don't know, his career went big turns, and he
Hmm.
went to Braga.
Can you
And
anglicize that for me?
Ricardo Gaio,
Okay. I don't know how to say his last name.
the
Go
right
ahead.
back. He's the Braga right back. He's
Esgaio. Got it.
Guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Cool.
not a very common name here in Portugal. Ricardo Gaio. Ricardo
Yeah.
is. I'm sure you know the iconic goalkeeper that takes off the gloves, Ricardo.
Yes.
So Ricardo is an iconic name, but Guy, I never seen it. But he's a really good right back. Really
Okay.
good right back.
All right. So Sporting are they're getting ready to defend their title.
Yes, they are. I wanted to end up the transfers talk with Marcel.
Mhm.
Olympique Marcel have been like we love youngsters, and they've been betting on the youngsters. Gerson, Sensis Under, Gendozi, Saliba.
Mhm.
I'm missing a couple of
Con-
players, aren't I?
Conrad, Pau Lopez, they just brought in from Roma. Uh, it's Lone Central there, but very clearly, new sporting director is going for it,
Mm-hmm.
and not wanting to wait on it. But they have some issues still. They have to figure out Boubacar Kamara, where he fits into this, or whether or not they're moving him on. But yeah, it's they are bringing in quite the talent. I'm a little worried where Conrad de la Fuente fits in after leaving from Barca.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a feeling he's going to get his chances. And this is a kind of you got Lille that is once again selling off their players. You have
Mm-hmm.
PSG, which is basically stacking the deck in their favor, and Marseille is trying to keep up with the Joneses. Right? They're
I agree.
basically